What's up everyone? It's Emmaline from Love Lola. Welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited about the bag that we're going to be making. I love this bag. It is just so adorable. Let's just get into it. So this is the Esmeralda by Shamballa. Look at how pretty she is. I love this bag. So when I saw it, I told Sammy, I am the president of the Itty Bitty Bag Committee. I love small purses. I just don't like big bags anymore. I can't do it. And this bag, to me, is just the perfect size. So finished, it's going to be about 8.5 inches long, and it's about 5.5 inches tall, and it's about, I want to say about 1.5 inch wide. And it is adorable. You know, I think what happened was when I had my baby about 4 years ago, moms, you already know, every time I left the house, it was, I had a backpack, you know, because, you know, us cool moms, we didn't just have a diaper bag, we had to have a backpack. But I had this huge backpack full of so much stuff, and then I also would carry a big purse because I still needed to put other stuff. I didn't have enough in my backpack, so I had it in my purse, and then sometimes I was carrying stuff. It was crazy. And so once my daughter got old enough to where I didn't need a diaper bag, I was like, no, never again. Even before I had a baby, I used to never carry a purse. I used to just put my phone and my credit card in my pocket. I remember Dave used to be like, Grandma, what? How old are you? I just don't like carrying big bags. So, you know, in the bag making world, I feel like smaller bags, small, great patterns are hard to come across. And lately we have been winning. Like, there have been some really great smaller patterns coming out. So I just want to say kudos, thank you so much to the pattern writers who are making these smaller size bags for minimalistic people like me. I don't need a lot. When I'm leaving this house, I got my phone, I got my lip gloss, I got my ID and my credit card, and that's it. I don't need, what do I need? What else do I need? Nothing. Nada. So this is perfect for me. So Sammy, thank you for this pattern. I love it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so, I just love this pattern. You see this cute little flap on the front. On the back, we have a slip pocket. Let me see. Do I have my phone? Yes. We have a slip pocket. I have a pretty standard size phone. This is an Android. Team Android. Don't do me. Best pictures ever. iPhone who? iPhone where? For what? And my purse fits in there perfectly. So that's my back pocket. On the front, we have this, like I said, this cute flap. It opens. It has 2 snaps. And then we also have this cute little zipper right here. So that's probably where I would put my lip gloss. Maybe my credit cards, because it'd be easy to get to. You know, I don't know. Something's going in there. So we got this cute little zipper pocket on the front. And then it comes with credit card slots. How perfect is that? That's where I'll put my credit card slot. My credit card's not in the front. No. I'm going to put it in I'm going to put it where the card slots. I'm going to put it where they go. In the card slots. Okay, so yeah. This is the inside. The pattern is really cool because she does give you 2 options for your connectors. You can put a bridge on the side right here. And then she also gives you an option to put the bridge on the top, which is what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the hardware, and I'm sick of it. I am sick of it because I buy so much freaking hardware, and when it comes down to what I really need, I hardly have it, and I'm sick of it, Ray. I'm talking to myself. I gotta get it together. Yeah, so because I didn't have the hardware that I wanted to do this, which is no excuse because I could have done an invisible connector. There's so many alternatives and ways to make what we want to make. You don't have to have the hardware for it. I was just being lazy and didn't want to do that. So what I did was I added these side connectors, which worked out perfectly. I'm not mad at it. But I am not going to lie to you. I don't recommend it. It was a pain in the butt because, you know, right there on the side we have this seam, these two seams, and that hole that you poke for the hardware, you have to poke it right there on the seams. So I don't want you to see this picture and go and make it and you get to that part and you're like trying to hunt me down to give me a piece of your mind because it's not working. I'm telling you right now, it's doable, but you are going to work for it. So I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it, but it's doable. I did it and it's secure. It's fine. It just took a lot of work. So anyway, there's a bunch of different options for getting your straps connected, but I love this bag, y'all. Y'all. Let me get out of the frame so you can see it. So it can focus. You know, these smart cameras, they don't want too much going on. They're gonna focus for you, but you gotta get some crap out of the way. Let me try it on for you so you can see what it looks like on. How freaking cute. It's the perfect size. Like, oh my gosh, I am just so excited about this bag. I cannot wait to wear it. Just so cute. It's just so cute. I love it. Makes me want to pose. What? You like my purse? Thank you. Where did I get it from? Silly, silly girl. I made it. And if you like it, I can make you one too. www.lovelooks.com. Yes! Go get a bag. Okay, make that money. Okay, girl, I got you. All right, are y'all ready to go make this bag? I know you are because it is so freaking cute. All right, let's go make it. Whoop. I can't forget my wine, friend. All right, so let's go over our cut patterns. I have interfaced everything that is made with vinyl. I have interfaced all of my exterior pieces, let me put it like that, except for my zipper tab. Now go ahead and make a marking on your front pocket piece for your magnetic snaps. And also you should be making a map. You should be making a mark on your flat panel for your bridges if you're going to be using those, and also for your magnetic snaps. I have interfaced all of my pieces with Emmaline Heavy, and this is the setup for what the front of the bag is going to look like, just in case you're interested in that. Those are the zipper tabs, the top piece, the bottom, and then the flap that will be coming over the front. We've got our gusset, which also has a mark on it for the bridge. So you want to transfer that onto the back of that piece, or the front of the piece. The back or the front. We've got our back pocket piece. You're cutting an exterior and a lining. on your back panel top piece, you can go ahead and make a mark if you're going to be doing piping. I was gonna do piping today, but the cording that I ordered from Amazon hasn't come in yet, so I guess I will live to pipe another day. All right, we've got our lining main panel, we've got our gusset piece, we've got our zip pocket, and we've got our lining side pieces. On this one, you're gonna cut one and cut one in the mirror image. And then we've got our zipper facing, and also our credit card piece, okay? Okay, so I've also cut some stabilizers in the pieces, the pattern pieces that we have, the templates. I am not adding my stabilizers now because I've found when you're dealing with small bags a lot of times, it makes it really hard to turn it out and stuff like that. So I'm going to be adding these at the end, just sliding them in. That's what I like to do with bags, like when I make the Mabel, for example. I always slide mine in towards the end now. So that's what's going on with my stabilizer. Okay, so go ahead and add go ahead and find the mid pieces, the midpoints on all of your pieces, and get those marked or snipped or whatever you need to do. It's just gonna make it easier for us later. I am kind of sick, so that's why I sound like this. Okay, for the zipper tab, I will say that when you do it, you're gonna be having edges exposed, and just personal preference, I don't like to have my edges exposed. So what I did was I just cut my zipper tab and double the length, and that way I can fold it in half, and then that puts us, you know, right where it starts. And then I will fold that in half. So the same process, but just the way that I'm doing it, it's gonna leave it so that I don't have any exposed edges over here, because I just don't like that. So your choice, do what you do. All right, so let's get started. I've got my 10-inch zipper tape. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. Again, if you're using the normal one, you're only going to fold it in half once, and then you're going to slide it right over, just like that, okay? You're just going to push it in so that the zipper is snug against it. Repeat to the other side. All right, and we're gonna head over to the machine, and we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch on both sides. Okay. Now we're going to trim it right where it ends, and we can also trim the zipper and the other part of you're basically just trimming everything so that we don't have all that extra stuff in the seam allowance. Okay. So you want to go out about 1/4 of an inch. From your top stitching. Okay. And then right where it bent before, that's basically where we're cutting. And then I'm going to get the zipper out of the way. So essentially we're just giving ourselves a less bulky seam allowance. Grab your front pocket pieces. It's an exterior and a lining piece. Don't forget that you should have added the mark for your magnetic pieces on this. And you want to put a piece of double-sided tape along the top of both of these pieces, the exterior and the lining. Okay, now grab your exterior piece. Go ahead and remove that backing. And our zipper, we want an opening to the right, closing to the left. We're going to place the zipper right side down, so the exterior piece is right side up. Zipper is right side down. And we're just going to line that up evenly along the top and the edges. Now grab your lining piece. We're going to lay that down right side facing down and lay it right on top, lining up the side and the top as well. And now we're going to go and sew this all together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once we have that attached, we're going to open that up. And match up the curved edges. Finger pressing it a little bit. I feel like that helps. And now we're going to go and top stitch right along there at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, grab your front panel top and your front panel bottom. We can go ahead and take the backing off of the double-sided tape. And you don't have to use double-sided tape, guys. If you can just baste it on, or you can just clip it in place. Double-sided tape isn't necessary. It just makes it a little bit faster, I guess. Alright, so we take the panel that we just worked on, and we're going to lay our top piece right side facing down right along that zipper. Okay, once we've got that pressed down firmly, we're going to turn it over, and then we're going to grab our front panel bottom, and we're going to turn it so that it's right side facing down, and we're going to attach it right on top of the zipper. Press firmly to make sure everything's attached really good. And then we're going to head over to the machine and top stitch this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now we want to match the curves of the piece we just added with the curves that are matched up already. Okay, and let's finger press this top piece that we just added. And we want our seam allowance to be pressed going up, because we want to catch it right now when we do this top stitch. We're going to go and add a top stitch along here and 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, let's go ahead and use our marks to get our snaps put in. Okay, when you install these, you should be installing the female side. And you also should not, you should only be cutting through that front piece, okay? You don't want to cut through the lining or anything, okay? Okay, there have been some developments. I went ahead and basted along the sides and the bottom of this piece. So now I'm going to set it aside for a second. And let's work on our flap. Now, one of the options is adding your bridge for your connectors on the top of your flannel, on the top of your flap. If you're going to do that, then go ahead and use that to mark. Also, and this is on the front part of your flap. If you are going to be adding a label, go ahead and use that to mark that. I did add stabilizer behind my label. And then also on your back flap piece, go ahead and mark, if you haven't already, where you're going to be putting the male part of your snaps on. For the flap, there are two options. You can do exposed edges, in which case you would sew these right sides together with your stabilizer in the middle at 1/4 of an inch, and then you would trim it down to 1/8 of an inch, and then if you would like, you would use edge paint to color the edges to give it, you know, professional look. I don't feel like doing all of that, so I am going to be doing mine the other way. I'm going to lay my flaps right side facing each other, and then I'm going to get them pinned together. Okay, now let's go and sew this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and we are sewing from this top corner around and stopping at that top corner. We're not going to be sewing the top close yet. All right, let's go. Okay, we've trimmed our seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and now we're going to turn it out. Did I add my, okay, good. I'm about to say, did I add my magnetic snaps? Okay, so we're going to turn it right side out. Okay, and let's push out our seams as best as we can. You can use your fingers. If you have a tool, you can use a tool. Seam, smooth it out. We're going to pin around, and then we're going to go in top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, I'm going to go do that at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, that top stitch. Okay, so now let's grab our stabilizer. And I can tell I'm going to have to trim mine down a little bit. And we're just going to slide it right inside. I'm going to have to roll it a little bit because of that little angle at the top. Okay. Slide it down as far as you can. Get it into those corners as best you can. There we go. That feels great. That feels so good. Okay. All right. Now we're about to baste this close. So make sure you've got your label if you want it. Make sure you've got your snap connectors because it ain't no going back. Okay. All right. I'm going to go and baste this top really quick. Okay. Now let's grab our back panel top. And we want it to be right side facing up. And we want our flap to also be right side facing up. And we're going to put the straight edge, match that up, those two midpoints. And then we're going to clamp it together. And we're going to go baste that at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, let's grab our back panel bottom, and that's going to be in our lining material. And we're going to place it right side facing down, matching up those midpoints. Let's go and sew this together at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay. Let's push our seam allowance so that it's going towards the bottom underneath the lining. And now we're going to go and top stitch on the lining at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, let's grab our back pocket pieces. It should be an exterior and a lining. When I have curves, I like to sketch it because I just don't trust myself. Okay, we're gonna place these right sides touching each other. Yeah. And then we're going to head over to the machine and we're going to be sewing just along the top at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, and now you can either cut this with pinking shears or just cut notches in it. I'm going to trim mine down to about 1/8 of an inch and do a few notches. All right, flip it over. Place them right sides wrong sides touching. And then finger press it as best as you can along those seams. Once you're happy with your seam, let's get it clamped together, and then we're gonna go and stitch it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now let's grab our back panel that we did with the flap, and we're going to add that pocket to it. Oh, that's sexy. So we're gonna line up those mid pieces on the lining and that pocket that we just made. Very cute. This just comes together so nicely. I do love that about the Shamballa patterns. It always just, sometimes in the beginning I'm like, what? Do you want me to put this where? But you know, it always winds up coming together just perfectly and just so pretty. I love Shamballa's designs. Thank you, Sammy, for putting out these great patterns. Okay, and now we're gonna go and sew around the sides and the bottom at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Just basting it together. All right, so our exterior pieces are ready to go. So if you like at this point, you can go ahead and add your stabilizer. Like I said, because this is a smaller bag, they can get a little tricky when you're turning them out. So I'm gonna wait and add my stabilizer when I get my lining attached. I'm gonna just slide it right between those two. Also, if you're gonna be doing piping, this is the time to do it. I wanted to do piping. I even got my new piping feet, my piping foot. I was so pumped, but alas, my cording did not make it in from Amazon yet. So I won't have piping. It's okay though. It's cool. It's still gonna be nice. But if you are gonna do piping, this is the time to go ahead and get that done on these two pieces. Use your pattern piece to mark where you're gonna start and end it. So there are two ways to add your straps on this bag. You can add some bridge connectors on your gussets, or you can add it on your flap. Whichever one you decide, just use your pattern template to mark where those are gonna go. I'm actually gonna be doing it a third way because I have to be difficult. No, not really, because I don't have any of the other hardware. I need to stash up. But anyway, this is what I have. So this is what I'm going to be using, and this is going to be going on the side of the bag right there. So that's going to be what I'm doing. Yeah, but go ahead and get your hardware attached the way that you need to get it attached. Okay, so now we're going to get our gusset attached to our main pieces, so grab one. I don't think it matters which one you grab. And we're going to match up the marks that we made for our mid pieces, and we want them to be right sides touching. We're going to get that pinned together. And then we're going to match up our corners. And now we're going to just line everything up and match it all the way around. Clamp along your sides first, and then along the straight parts of your bottom, and then get those corners last. All right, we're gonna go and sew this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. If you're having trouble, then go ahead and baste it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance first, and then go back and sew it at 1/4 of an inch. If you use piping, then go ahead and put on your zipper foot so that you can get as close to that piping as possible. Okay, and now we're going to repeat for the other side. Also, if you like, I forgot to do it last time, but you can add a few snips in the corner of the gussets. In the corner of the gusset to help with that. Here we go. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing. Match up those midpoints. And the right side of your gusset should be touching the right side of your panel piece. Yeah. Okay, and once we get it pinned, we're going to do just like before and sew around the whole thing at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so now I'm going to trim my seam allowance down to about 1/8 of an inch, except for about 1 inch down from all 4 corners. I want to leave that long. That way when we do our top stitching later, we can open that up, and it'll help with the it not being too bulky. All right, and let's go ahead and turn this out. Pretty much done with the exterior. Yeah. Okay. So our exterior is pretty much ready to go. So we're gonna place this to the side. So adorable. Oh, I love it already. Okay, so that's that. Let's grab our card slot piece. Now, go ahead and place that so that it's wrong side facing up. And then what I did was I just used my template, my pattern piece, to mark where the lines are. So I put dots where each line was on both sides. Okay, and now if you want, you can draw a line across. Oh. If you want to do that. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to go by the dots. Okay. Go ahead and mark which end is your top and which end is your bottom. We're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to fold it up so that wrong sides are touching. And I'm just lining it up right where that mark is, and wrong sides are touching. Okay, and then we're going to find that next line, and we're going to bend it the opposite way. And when you bend these, make sure that you're keeping your sides lined up. We don't want any kind of warping going on. So just try your best to keep that straight. Okay, the next one is going to be wrong sides touching. So we're just repeating that over and over on each line on the opposite side. So first time it's going to be wrong sides touching. The next time right sides touching. The next side wrong sides touching, and so forth. Don't make it harder than it is. I remember the first time I did cord sides, I was like, what? But what? It was... And then I had to realize, Ray, you're doing too much. Just fold it. That's it. Relax. It's all good. You're just folding pieces of fabric. It's all good, girl. Don't put too much thought into it. With that being said, also don't fuck it up. I'm just kidding. Okay. I have one more left, yep. There we go, that wasn't too bad. All right, now let's baste down both sides at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, let's get our lining side pieces attached. Okay, so we're going to have our slots right side facing up, and our side piece is going to be right side facing down, and we're lining up the straight edge. We're lining up the straight edge and lining up the top and the bottom. Everything should line up. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides. All right, and now we're going to sew these at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. All right, we're going to push these open, finger press it, and then let's head over to the machine and we're going to top stitch along the outer pieces at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once we have that done, we're going to grab our other lining piece and our gusset piece, and we're going to get these assembled the exact same way that we did the main pieces. So I'm not going to show that, I'm just going to get it done. But for a reminder, you're going to place your gusset and your main panel piece right sides touching, matching up those midpoints, and then you're going to match up the corners, and then you're going to go through and pin the rest of it together. Once you get one side attached, you're going to repeat the same thing to the other side, right sides touching each other, line it up and get it sewn together. Now she does say for you to leave one side open to turn the bag through. I'm trying to decide if I want to turn the bag through or if I want to do a drop-in lining. Because you can do either or. I guess I'll turn the bag through. Why not? Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I think I forgot to mention I'm not adding a zippered pocket to my lining only because this bag is so small. My preference, my bags that are small like this, I don't need a zippered pocket in the middle, especially when I have a zippered pocket on the front and a slip pocket on the back. So I don't see a point in adding that. But if you want to add it, I have attached a link to my video on how you would go ahead and add that, that pocket, okay? All right, we're almost done. I'm going to trim down my seam allowance on my lining, but not the side that I'm going to be turning it through. And also, if I didn't mention, you're going to start these at 1/4 of an inch, the lining, but as you go down after about an inch, you're going to start increasing that to about 3/8 of an inch seam allowance so that there won't be that, you know, that slouchiness in your bag. Again, when we get to where we're going to be turning the bag out, I'm going to leave that seam allowance long. Okay, so now we want to place our lining is going to be wrong side facing out. Our exterior piece is the right way facing out. And I want my car slot piece to be towards the back of my bag. Yeah, that's what I want. So we're going to place our exterior inside of our lining. And you're just going to tuck that flap down between the back of the bag and the lining. Now, if you need to bend that flap twice to make sure that you don't catch it on this next step, then go ahead and do that. Like, you know, fold it in and fold it back up a little bit because you don't want to catch it when we attach this top piece. Okay, so let's line up our gusset first. Okay, and now we're gonna go and sew around the entire top at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once you've got that on, you can go ahead and trim down your seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch. All right, let's turn this baby out. Turn around, make her wild. Let's party. Okay, so right here. All right, look, I don't want no problems. I feel like it's gonna give me all the problems. I should have left that a little bit bigger. Let's see. Come on, baby. So I'm gonna grab my stabilizers. Why do I have 3 pieces? Very odd. And I'm going to grab a little bit of my Beacon 3-in-1 glue. I'm going to basically just apply a little bit of glue along my gusset area, and then I'll place my gusset in, and then I will do the same for my front and back panels. Apply a little bit of glue, and then just tuck that right in and let that sit for just a moment. I just fold it so I can find the center. And then I go to what I think is about the center. Okay. Okay, so I've got all of my stabilizer in. It feels really good. I've rolled my, good night, baby. I've rolled all of my seams out. Pretty excited about this bag. Okay, now I'm gonna go and close up my hole really quick. Got a little bit of glue on my hand, ignore that. I'm gonna get my hole closed up really fast, and then we can continue from there. Once we have our lining closed up, we are going to just tuck this inside and then sew around the top. And we're done. Well, we're almost done. So let's get this tucked in. Oh, so cute. Okay, once you're happy with your seams, we're going to pin it And then head over and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, now we're gonna go top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance.